Hello to all of you wonderful moms out there. This is episode 68 of the Achieve Your Ambitious Mom Life podcast, the show where we use life planning to help you live a purposeful, ambitious, and impactful life as a mom. I'm your host, Anoki Kapasi. Making decisions is a part of our everyday as a mom, right? In fact, decisions about our mom life started before we even became moms. Should I nurse or bottle feed? How do I find a pediatrician? Where should we raise our kids? Let's be honest. Have you gone through life making decisions on a whim? Or when you really need to put thought into it, you make a good old pros and cons list? Now, how many times have you found that it didn't quite offer you that clarity that you were looking for? Or you made a decision only to second guess it and then actually change it even? So today I'm going to talk about how to make decisions when a basic pros and cons list fails. And after this, you might even start wondering how you ever made it this far making decisions that old-fashioned way. Are you looking for a way to blend success and motherhood without losing sight of who you are? I get it. I've been there too. Hi, I'm Anoki, a PhD researcher, business owner, and homeschooling mom of 2 boys. As your life coach, I help moms like you create a life you love at home and at work. If you're ready to stop feeling overwhelmed, overscheduled, and overlooked, and want a clear roadmap to a balanced life, a meaningful career, and finally feeling like yourself again while being the awesome mama that you are, you're in the right place. In this journey to create the life you truly desire, it's time to rediscover your dreams and achieve your ambitious mom life. Before we get started, I want to remind you that I would love to hear from you. This podcast is all about figuring things out together. So if you have a burning question about balancing your ambitions and motherhood, well, I'm here to help with Figure It Out Fridays, our mini episodes where I answer your questions. Send me your questions through the links in the show notes, leave me a voice memo on our contact page, or email me directly at hello@solveformom.com. I promise to bring my experience, support, and evidence-based answers to help you navigate your ambitious mom life. At its core, decision-making is a structured process designed to help you achieve meaningful outcomes in your life. So think of it as a research journey where you first identify the problem or question at hand, and then you're going to gather all the information you need to be fully informed, right, to make that decision. And then from there, you're going to work to understand what are all your possible choices or possible solutions. And then ultimately, you're going to arrive at an outcome. When we understand this framework, we can move beyond simple pros and cons lists in order to make decisions. As ambitious moms, we want to be able to make decisions that can tap into the logical side of our mind as well as lean on our intuition. Both, I believe, are pretty strong in us and should be a part of decision making. And I actually talked about that in episode 60, so I'm going to link that in the show notes. Now, there are many different types of decisions that we might have to deal with, and not all decisions or even choices for a decision are created equal. In our day-to-day lives, we usually are dealing with simple decisions like what to make for dinner or binary choices with clear yes or no answers. We might have also dealt with those complex decisions that truly shape our future. And so I want to spend a minute honing in a bit more on those complex decisions and what those entail, because these are the ones that have a more lasting impact on our lives. So what is a complex decision? Well, those are where reversing course would be difficult, like maybe relocating your family to a new country, or decisions that involve a lot of resources, like a huge chunk of your savings, for example, purchasing land for a family homestead. Complex choices are ones that create a ripple effect on other parts of your life or on your family. So maybe leaving your company to start a home business, or choices that are interdependent with other aspects of your life, where one choice for one decision might actually impact another decision. And there's lots of moving parts. For example, homeschooling your children, which could affect everything from your career to your family dynamics. Now, I'd also say that decisions with important ethical implications are probably complex decisions as well. Complex decisions frequently arise during major life transitions. So what I want you to be able to do is to make decisions confidently. And what I mean by confident decision making is I want you to have complete clarity about the question and your options, that you can make a choice without having to second guess yourself. I want you to be able to understand exactly why you chose that choice. And I want you to know the consequences of your choices in advance of making the decision. I want you to know how this choice will affect different areas of your life and for you to feel certain that it all adds genuine meaning to your life. And so to me, that's what true confidence in decisions looks like. Okay, so I've already told you that I don't think a simple pros and cons list is going to cut it. And that's because while a pros and cons list seems thorough on the surface, it's actually holding you back from making truly confident decisions, the way that I described earlier. See, traditional lists give you a quick snapshot with concrete outcomes, but they're also kind of blurry and have limitations. It's not a systematic process to make a pros and cons list, and it can be really susceptible to a lot of bias. And I study bias as a profession, so I can tell you that this can be really problematic with decision making. And a pros and cons list might shine when you're comparing two options, when the decision is binary, but it really does struggle when you're starting to compare more than two options. And really importantly, these types of lists assume that all factors that you put into your list carry equal weight, but they don't. The list often focuses on quantity over quality and start to completely ignore the stuff that's hard to quantify, things that are based on your intuition and your emotions. They also fail to assess how it affects so many different parts of your life, okay? A lot of times these points that you add to your pros and cons list are sort of assumed to happen in isolation. And honestly, the worst outcome, if you're using a pros and cons list for decision making, could be that you'll make the wrong decision. I'm not saying that happens every time, but that is worst case scenario, and it's a possibility. When that happens, it leads to a cycle of low confidence, more flip-flopping, and what's the point of the exercise if you're going to second guess yourself anyways? So understanding the limitations of how you're coming to your decision is the first step towards having a more powerful approach. And so I think there's a better solution for ambitious, high-achieving moms. Now, a pros and cons list could be sufficient for simple decisions, but when you're faced with those complex decisions, the ones that I described earlier, or if you want to ensure confidence in your decision, then I don't think a pros and cons list is going to really cut it. I think life planning is a much better tool, and it becomes your ultimate decision-making superpower. A life plan gives you crystal clear insight into your options, and it helps you perfectly align decisions and choices with who you are and what you want or need. And what makes this approach so good is how it is so all-encompassing. It combines intuition with logic, which is what we want, and it weighs both internal factors, like your personal values, emotions, passions, that kind of thing, with external considerations, like finances and career and your house. This is how you can make decisions that allow you to get closer to your vision and align with your core values. And that's why it feels like it's working with you. It's going to feel very natural when you go through this process. Life planning gives you a holistic framework that doesn't just help you make isolated choices like you would be doing with a pros and cons list. It helps you understand how your decisions are going to ripple through your entire life ecosystem, from family dynamics to your living space. And if you're tired of feeling stuck in decision paralysis and you want a life plan that actually serves as your decision-making compass, like what I was just talking about, well, I can help. I've developed a custom framework specifically for high-achieving moms like you. And guys, you're not going to find this anywhere else. My clients are finding that it's transforming not just how they handle major life transitions, but it has empowered them with their everyday choices too. Imagine having crystal clear insight into all of your options and knowing that whatever you choose is going to perfectly align with who you are. And a life plan doesn't just help you make a logical choice. It's going to ensure that you're always moving towards that grander vision that you have to be able to take action on those big ideas. So are you ready to put yourself back into the equation of your ambitious mom life? Well, if that's what you want, book a free exploratory call with me today. And let's create your personalized roadmap to confident decision-making. When you have your life plan and you use it as a powerful decision-making tool, maybe through coaching with me, it puts you in control. So you can customize your life to meet your goals. You are now driving your life and actively making choices rather than life just happening to you and you're reflexively moving through your day. In one, you're in control. In the other, you're sort of a victim of all these things just coming at you. Because your life plan includes your values, your purpose, your passions, and all of that stuff, you'll be able to take what you've envisioned and map it all out. And then you can use a robust decision-making method to tackle your big, audacious goals, knowing that your life plan is supporting all of your choices. So what most people get wrong is failing to develop a systematic approach to planning their lives and then making that the foundation for future decision making. And that's why a pros and cons list doesn't always work. So for example, if you were considering switching to more flexible work and you use a pros and cons list, you might be listing under pros things like greater job satisfaction, being home for dinner more, less work travel, not having to commute. And then maybe some cons might include things like a reduced salary, maybe less face time with your colleagues, not being eligible for a promotion, and potentially less work stability. Now, do each of those hold equal value to you? And if not, how do you know what's more important? Well, instead of simply listing options that are available to you, you want a methodical way to assess each choice against what truly matters in your life. And imagine how freeing it would be to have all of that pent-up decision fatigue just sort of melt away. Just take a moment now and envision what that kind of clarity and confidence would feel like in your daily life. So just in this episode alone, I feel like we've come really far with decision making. But there are some important points I do want you to remember. So first, I don't want you to sell yourself short. I know that maybe it sounds like I'm implying that you've been making decisions completely incorrectly this whole time. That's not exactly what I'm saying. By now, we've all made countless decisions in our lives, and you've had more experiences than you might realize, and you've probably done a pretty good job with decision making. So I'm not trying to disqualify the decisions or progress you've made up to now. I just don't want you to cheat yourself out of the right decision-making tools for big, complex decisions and life transitions that you know you're going to face. The traditional pros and cons list might work for simple choices, but complex life decisions really deserve more robust approach than we can discuss today. You might not have all the answers right now, but you can start by asking, what am I clear on? Begin with what you know for certain and then build from there. So, amazing mama, I hope this encouraged you. If you want to go deeper with me and you haven't visited my website, solveformom.com, that's a great next step for us to hang out together and to go deeper into achieving your ambitious mom life. There's lots of resources there to learn about life planning and about working with me to build your life plan out. I hope to see you there. I hope today's episode will help you create time and freedom to pursue something you love to do. If you enjoy the show, please subscribe and tell other purpose-driven mamas about it. Who knows? You might even make a new friend by sharing a tip. It's all free. By the way, it would be amazing to hear what you think about the show when you leave a review on Apple Podcasts. After all, my passion is to make this a great experience for you. I'll see you next week for another episode of Achieve Your Ambitious Mom Life with Anoki Kapasi.